Identity shifts, expanding beyond the version of you that built this. There's a moment in every founder's journey when things start working, and instead of relief, you feel resistance. You've built what you wanted, but it suddenly feels too small, heavy, or tight. You don't want to burn it down, but you also don't want to keep it living inside the version of yourself who had to build it that way. That's not confusion. That's an identity shift. And it's the invisible edge of every next chapter. The identity gap no one talks about. This is the most challenging part of growth, isn't the strategy. It's outgrowing the self concept that got you here. The version of you who hustled, proved, and carried it all. She was brilliant, but she was also built for survival. And when you start building from regulation instead of adrenaline, that's an old identity panics. Because her job was to protect you, not to evolve you. And the work isn't to kill her off. It is to integrate her and to say, thank you for getting me there. You don't have to drive anymore. Why? Evolution feels like fear. Every identity has a nervous system pattern attached to it. When you change how you work, lead, or relate, you're not just changing habits, but interrupting your brain's prediction of safety. It feels like loss because, on some level, it is. You are letting go of the coping strategy that once made you feel safe: overwork, control, approval, and perfection. You're trading adrenaline for alignment, and your system doesn't yet know that's safe. And that's why expansion can feel like a contraction. You're detoxing from an identity that's outlived its purpose. So there's three stages of identity evolution. First is friction. Step one, stage one. You start feeling restless, resentful, and uninspired. The things that once thrilled you now drain you. You overanalyze. Am I grateful, lazy, burnt out? No, you're becoming. Your nervous system senses that your current identity is too tight for the next version of your work. Don't overthink the friction, follow it. Stage two, the void. The in between is the hardest part. You've stopped identifying with your old self, but the new self hasn't fully landed yet. You'll feel disorientated, impatient, and tempted to rebuild something familiar just to feel in control again. Hold steady. This is where integration happens. Your job isn't to define the next version yet, it's to stay regulated enough to hear it forming. Stage three, the repatterning. You started noticing new instincts. You delegated sooner. You responded more slowly. You say, I don't know without shame. That's your nervous system expanding its capacity. You're no longer chasing safety. You're leading from it. The science behind identity shifts. When you repeat behaviors tied to old beliefs, your brain wires them into neural identity loops. I'm productive. I am valuable. To shift identity, you don't fight the loop. You build a new one. I'm regulated. I'm reliable. The bridge between the two is proof, not perfection. Each time you show up differently, say no instead of overgiving, resting instead of pushing, your brain updates its prediction of who you are. You're teaching your nervous system it's safe to succeed differently. My client was a female entrepreneur, and she once told me, my business isn't scaling, but I'm shrinking. I miss who I was before the pressure. We unpacked that. The old her was building the work long hours, control, constantly do. And the new her was asking for space, delegation, and joy. Her fear, if I stop being the engine, everything will fall apart. So we tested it. She took Fridays off, not as a rest, but as a trust exercise. Her team rose, systems held. 3 weeks later, she said, I didn't lose control, I gained capacity. That's the identity upgrade, moving from the doer to the leader, from the proof to presence. Signs your mid identity evolution. You crave simplicity more than speed. You can't tolerate chaos disguised as creativity anymore. You started unlearning from old definition of hard work. You no longer resonate with the version of yourself your audience met initially. You feel the quiet pull towards authenticity, even if it costs you approval. So, you're here. You're not confused. You're crossing thresholds. Your nervous system is learning a new baseline of worth, and that doesn't depend on performance. The practice, integration, not reinvention. You don't need to reinvent yourself. You need to integrate all the versions of you that got you here. Now, here's a simple framework. Gratitude for the builder. Write down everything your old self gave you: resilience, resourcefulness, grit, vision. Say, thank you, you made this possible. Grieve when you're outgrowing. Growth always involves a small funeral for identity, habits, hustles that no longer fit. Allow sadness, nostalgia, even fear. That's nervous system release, not regression. Next is anchor the next version. Ask, what does the next season of me need instead of proving? What kind of work feels congruent with who I'm becoming? Who am I when I'm no longer performing safety? Write it as an I am statement, not a goal, but a presence. Example, I am a calm, creative leader who builds from rest, not reactivity. The paradox of expansion. Every time you evolve, your old identity will whisper, you're being selfish, you're abandoning what worked, you're losing your edge. It's not sabotage, it's nostalgia. Your brain misses the predictability of old pain. Smile and say, thank you for caring, but safety doesn't live there anymore. That's how you expand, not by fighting the old self, but by leading her forward. Here are some integration rituals so this change sticks. End your week by saying, what did I do differently this week from my old self wouldn't have? When fear hits, put your hand on your chest and say, this discomfort is evidence of evolution. And in your planner, create an identity in progress page and list emerging qualities like calm, discernment, and trust. Read them every Monday until they feel like truth, not aspiration. And that's how your new identity stabilizes through gentle repetition, not reinvention overnight. Now say this with me. I can outgrow who I was without rejecting her. I'm not losing control. I'm gaining capacity. Every time I expand, my nervous system learns new safety. Evolution doesn't rush, it regulates. Because you don't need to burn it all down to become more of yourself. You just need to build enough safety to let the next version lead. So if you're in this season between old patterns and new path, come to the free Reset and Rise Masterclass. And if you want to integrate this deeper leadership and identity work, join the Inner CEO Rewired Accelerator, the VIP version, because the next level of your business won't come from working harder. It'll come from working as the woman you are becoming. And she leads from calm, not chaos. Thank you for watching, and watch this next video, Integration Season. Make calm your competitive advantage. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.